Who is y'all to tell me what he diagnosed with and what he look like and what he sound like? Y'all don't know nothing about God and y'all don't know nothing about nothing. You talking to me like that. So I rebuke everything y'all saying about my child.
It's time to just say what it is so that you can stop being embarrassed and harboring that guilt. I literally spoke what I saw because
Cone recently appeared at a church gathering, holding her nearly 2-year-old son, and it didn't take long for attendees to notice that little Cone Jr. hadn't shown much development since she took him off social media. Concerns about his well-being have been circulating, but Crowan has consistently brushed them off, believing that whatever issues he faces would naturally resolve with time. Turns out she couldn't have been more mistaken. A doctor who came across a clip of Junior circulating on X finally confirmed what many had quietly suspected. Without proper intervention, the little one might never develop speech. To make matters worse, Blueface's mother weighed in harshly, pointing fingers at Cone for being the reason her son is in this condition. Ever since Cone first revealed her son to the public by streaming her birth live on IG, people have been skeptical. After months of absence, she returned, raving about how flawless he was. However, viewers weren't quite seeing what she described. The baby showed no head movement, lacked hand-eye coordination, and his cry, well, that's what truly raised eyebrows. His cries were more like a cat's screech, and Cone desperately tried to play it off as if nothing was wrong. During a live stream where she defended getting a tattoo of Blueface on her face, her son's cries erupted in the background. Viewers couldn't ignore the unsettling feeling that something wasn't right. In another video where Cone was feeding him, fans quickly noticed that her son didn't show any real reaction to the food or spoon until it was right in front of him. By that point, he was already 8 months old. Most babies that age would eagerly reach for food, so why wasn't he? This raised even more questions. Viewers flooded her comments, speculating that her drinking and smoking during pregnancy might have contributed to his condition. One commenter pointed out, Chrisean Rock is in denial about Junior. He's not hitting any milestones. He should be able to support his head and chest while on his tummy by now. He also doesn't coo or smile. When Cone saw the remark, she wasn't having it. She quickly fired back, accusing people of being haters, trying to turn nothing into something. Some people started suggesting that Cone Jr.'s issues were related to Creed's shot, a genetic condition unrelated to the smoking or drinking Cone had done. Another commenter chimed in, arguing that the milestones people were pointing to were merely social constructs, created to boost a parent's ego, rather than genuinely acknowledging a child's development. But that argument doesn't really add up. Sure, it feels good to see your child hit certain milestones, but let's not forget how much work goes into bringing a child into the world and raising them. These benchmarks aren't just for show. They help parents gauge where their child stands. If a child isn't reaching expected milestones for their age, it makes it easier for parents to spot any developmental delays and take action. Doctors. Weighing in online pointed out that Cronin's son displayed several physical signs of fetal alcohol syndrome: small eyes with folds in the corners, unusually large, low-set ears, a flat midface, and a small head. While his high-pitched crying could be linked to Creed douche, it might also be a symptom of alcohol withdrawal in infants. People have also pointed out that when photos are taken of him, his pupils reflect white instead of the usual red, which could indicate a vision problem. However, Cone wasn't concerned. She told people to stop diagnosing her child, insisting she had taken him to the doctor and that he was perfectly fine. "My baby is healthy," she declared. "They would have told me if he had a syndrome. He's healthy, bro," she snapped. "Just because that picture wasn't cute doesn't mean I'm diagnosing my baby online. This is wrong." She had been documenting every moment of her child's life, and if she had ever taken him to the doctor and received a clean bill of health, she would have made sure to post it to shut down the critics. Blueface, who's just as much of a hands-off parent as Crash, took a shot at Cone for delaying their son's hernia surgery, claiming she'd put it off because she had other things to do until the situation worsened. It wasn't until Blueface's rant that she finally took Junior in for the surgery, immediately posting about how quickly he was recovering. When he was nearly a year old, Chrisean shared a video of her son attempting to walk, likely in an effort to combat claims that he wasn't making progress. However, all it did was back up the very point people had been making. We still hadn't seen him walk, talk, hold a spoon, laugh, or hit any of the typical milestones for a 1-year-old. People started criticizing Cone, claiming she only had a child to stay connected to Blueface. Her former best friend Janet added fuel to the fire, suggesting that Cone was in deep denial about Junior's need for help. When people are in denial, it's impossible to help them see what's really going on, Janet hinted. Faced with all the backlash, Cone decided to scale back on posting her son on social media, choosing instead to raise him away from the public. That, many agreed, was probably the smartest decision she'd made in a while. But when she brought him to church to debut her new song, Yahweh, people were stunned to see that little had changed with him. At nearly 2 years old, Junior should be in that stage of boundless curiosity, exploring his world and soaking in everything around him. But instead, he stands there, seemingly unaware, a little boy with a future clouded by circumstances beyond his control. The concern isn't that Junior has a disability. It's the fact that he's caught in a web of poor decisions, a toxic environment, and the aftermath of his parents' tumultuous lives. The tragic reality is that he was born into a situation where his parents were unprepared, to say the least, and where there was little care for the impact of their actions on the life of a child. People remember when his mother, Cash, openly expressed regret over her pregnancy. She even talked about abortion multiple times while pregnant, showing a clear lack of readiness for motherhood. The tension was palpable. It was clear that she wasn't emotionally invested, and that set the stage for what was to come. Even now, it seems Cash is still in denial, unwilling to acknowledge the deep consequences of her choices for her son. This denial is heartbreaking, not just for the child, but for everyone who knows the full picture of what has transpired. Clarissa, Blue's mother, has been open about her concerns. She has never minced words when talking about Junior's developmental issues. Although she's had a rocky relationship with Cash and may carry some bitterness toward her, the pain of seeing Junior in this state still strikes her deeply. She's said with raw emotion that her heart breaks every time she sees him like this. He deserves better, and it's a painful truth that it didn't have to be this way. Despite the deep affection Clarissa holds for all her grandchildren, the first time she saw Junior in public, her reaction was a mixture of shock and sorrow. She couldn't help but feel devastated by the reality of what had happened. Her love for him is undeniable, but her hurt is equally real. There's a significant amount of blame to go around, but at the core, the tragedy is that Junior had no control over the situation he was born into. He didn't ask to be part of this chaotic world, and the blame falls squarely on the adults who failed him. Many people now question how this situation unfolded, wondering how anyone could be surprised that Junior might have developmental challenges. Cash's actions during her pregnancy, particularly the smoking and drinking, were widely documented, and those habits undoubtedly played a part in his current struggles. She was not ready to be a mother and showed little concern for the consequences of her lifestyle choices. It's easy to feel sympathy for Junior, but the reality is that he is the innocent victim of his parents' negligence. Now, as Junior continues to face the world with significant delays in his development, it's clear that something is amiss. A child at his age should be walking, babbling, and exploring, yet he struggles to even reach those basic milestones. It's a glaring red flag, and it's painful to watch a child struggle in this way when the foundation of their life was built on neglect for Cash. It must be a whirlwind of emotions. Her pride and denial seem to block her from fully accepting responsibility, but deep down, she knows she made mistakes that have led to this point. Behind closed doors, she's likely grieving, but her public persona remains defiant. She clings to the hope that her son will improve, but it's clear that he needs more than hope. He needs intervention, support, and the commitment of a mother who will put his needs first. Chrisean, who has always been known for her fiery and often dramatic persona on TV, found herself in the midst of a heart-wrenching reality check during a routine pediatric visit. What was supposed to be a simple checkup turned into a moment that would change everything. The doctor's words, confirming suspicions about Junior's developmental delays, shattered her. There, in the doctor's office, Chrisean's tears flowed freely as she held her son close, almost as if her embrace could shield him from the pain of his condition. After returning home, she turned to Instagram, pouring her heart out to her followers. With raw vulnerability, she opened up about the emotional toll of the moment. It was clear that this news had upended her world, but in that moment, she wanted her fans to understand the depth of her love for her son and the gravity of the situation she was facing. During a deeply emotional live stream, Chrisean Rock bared her soul to her audience. Her eyes were swollen from tears, her voice cracked with the weight of her emotions, and it was clear that her heart was breaking. She told her followers, "I just want my baby to be okay. I'm doing everything I can. This is so hard for me." The rawness of her words struck a chord with fans worldwide. Almost immediately, clips of her live stream spread across social media platforms. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok were flooded with her heartbreaking confession. The hashtags Chacher Pray for JR and Chacher Trox Christian Strong quickly gained momentum, with fans pouring in messages of love, hope, and support. Some even set up GoFundMe campaigns to help cover the cost of Junior's potential medical treatments and therapies. Amidst all this, one lingering question remained. How would Blueface Jr.'s father respond to the situation? His reaction was minimal. A cryptic tweet, "It's a cold world. Stay dangerous." Reactions were mixed. Some fans assumed he was struggling privately, while others felt his response was cold and selfish. However, Chrisean didn't seem focused on Blueface during her live. Her priority was clear: her baby and the overwhelming responsibility of motherhood. The support for Chrisean didn't stop with her fans. Other celebrities, including Summer Walker and Cardi B, sent messages of encouragement. Cardi B even reposted one of Chrisean's clips with the message, "Prayers up for this mama, stay strong." For Chrisean, the emotional toll was enormous. Not only was she a young mother facing challenges no one should endure alone, but she was also under intense public scrutiny. During her live, she admitted, "Sometimes it feels like I want to give up, but I can't. My baby needs me." This kind of pressure can be unbearable, but Chrisean didn't buckle under it. Instead, she took action, researching specialists, exploring early intervention programs, and gathering all the information she could to help her son. She also cut back on her public appearances and focused on being there for JR as much as possible. The way her friends rallied around her, offering emotional and practical support, was a testament to the strength of her circle. Fans, who often view celebrities as distant or untouchable, saw a human side to Chrisean during this time, someone who was hurting, but fighting fiercely for her son. The Chrisean Strong hashtag became a powerful symbol of solidarity, reminding everyone that behind the fame, celebrities face the same struggles as anyone else. As Chrisean embarks on this difficult journey with Junior, one thing is certain: she is not facing this alone. She has her family, her fans, and her own unyielding determination to fight for her son's future. While the road ahead remains uncertain, the outpouring of support from all corners is a reminder that we're all hoping for JR's well-being. But what do you think about the situation? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. We'll see you in the next video. Now, turning to a much darker chapter in Chrisean's life, recent court documents reveal that her past legal troubles are far from over. It looks like the time has come for Chrisean to face the consequences of her actions. New reports suggest she's likely facing a lengthy prison sentence. It's a devastating blow, especially for her son Junior, who will grow up without his parents, due to their reckless decisions. To understand how we got here, let's rewind to February of 2022. Chrisean was arrested in Oklahoma after being caught driving a stolen car, with illegal substances found inside. She was charged with possession of a controlled substance and possession with intent to distribute, both of which carry prison sentences. But the situation didn't end there. Chrisean had stolen the car from Blueface, breaking into his home and taking his G-Wagon. She even left a chilling message on his wall written in her blood saying, "I love Blue." Blueface shared this on social media, calling it a fatal attraction moment. Whack 100, Blueface's manager, also shared details about the incident on Instagram, exposing more about Chrisean's actions. Not only had she stolen the car, but she'd also taken thousands of dollars from Blueface and vandalized his home. Whack showed no sympathy, calling her a bozo and explaining how he had to go through the hassle of retrieving the car from the impound and paying for its transport. After her arrest, Christian's situation seemed to improve for a brief period. She was initially sentenced to probation instead of prison, thanks to her lawyer's argument that she didn't have a criminal record. She was also ordered to complete 120 days of community service. But, as expected, Christian didn't follow through. She violated the terms of her probation by failing to finish the service, and a warrant for her arrest was issued in February of this year. Before authorities could catch up with her, Christian fled to California, where she already had another outstanding warrant. Her legal troubles continue to snowball, and it now seems like Christian might be facing the full brunt of her mistakes. The possibility of spending years behind bars is a stark reality, and it's unclear what that will mean for her future or the future of her son, Junior. What started as a series of poor decisions is now setting the stage for a dramatic and uncertain outcome, not just for Christian but for her child as well.